What's up, YouTube? It's Pastor Bob. So, a little update on my brother's refurbing of his house. Here's the new floor. I did all the underlayment and everything, and last night me and my brother came over and laid the floor. This is Pergo in here. So, just wanted you guys to see the floor, how nice it looks. And this floor's layment's down. Still a little messy because we put all the boxes in here and scooted last night. And then all the carpet's ripped out, as you can see. And then I started on this one this morning. So the floor's going in. There are two different types of flooring. This here is Traffic Master. It's got a 30-year warranty. So it's a little bit of a cheaper laminated flooring, but if you know how to lay it and you're not in a rush and you got to be gentle with it, right? The problem with flooring is knowing how to lay it. Right? You can't be in a rush. So different flooring works different ways. Like the Pergo, I find that if you put them together in one long strip, you can still put it in. But with the Traffic Master, it's a little bit of a different trick, honing, right? So what I do with this is I get it in the channel. Now I'll show you something. If I can do it with one hand. It might be pretty difficult, I'll be honest with you. Let's see if we can do it. Kind of difficult to do it with one hand, but you know, I have my tripod with me. So what you want to do is get it in that lip. See how I got it in that lip and it's on an angle right there? And you want to line it up over here. And sometimes, as you'll see, it's tight here and it's tight over there, right? This stuff is freaky. If I could do it with one hand. Maybe I can. Hold on one second. Put you guys up here. Look at them nails. So let me show you what I did. So what you want to do is take a scrap piece, and then when you got it tight on this end and tight on this end, make sure your seam is good before you decide to push it down and lock it. You take a piece of scrap, you put it in that channel, okay, and then you just tap it with a hammer. You don't slam it, you just tap it. And what will happen is it will push this right down even, and it will pop in. And then all you do is you come over here with your foot, right, and you just click it. That's it. And it'll clip right down on there. And that's it. It's as easy as that. Now, the thing about manufactured wood, right, so your laminated flooring, sometimes it's a little wonky. So when you're taking it out of the box, make sure that those edges are straight. Okay? Just make sure they're straight. If they're not, you're going to be fighting it. And it'll seem like you got a bow. But it'll last a long time. Now, somebody's going to say, well, how come you didn't put underlayment on, you know, little bubble stuff? You don't really have to. And I find sometimes if you don't lay that right, it'll throw everything off. Now, what I usually do, this is a little tighter, is, you know, the bottom of your trim board is generally 3/4 of an inch, right? So if you're putting up 1x4 trim or whatever you're doing. So I usually leave about 1/4 on each side, but no more than 1/2. All right? So I just want you guys to understand that. Now, after you go a few rows, you want to walk it. Now, if you're wondering why you want to walk it, it's because it's floating, right? It's floating. So if you walk it, it'll settle it all down and you'll stretch it out. Because if you get any kind of a little rise in it, right, it's going to throw you off up there and you're going to say, what the hell is going on? How come I can't get this in? So just remember to walk it. And what that will do is it will settle it all down. You just walk it a few times, all right? Now another thing that you want to do is you put set nails on your pieces on your starter wall, okay? And then once you get, like this is 9, I'm on the 9th row, right? So once I get to the 10th row, I walk it, right? I walk it, make sure it's all down, and then what I'll do is I'll go up 4 rows from the back on each wall, and I'll put a nail in each one of those, right? On the 4th row, I put a nail in the ends of each one. And the same thing here. And the reason for that is so that it don't buckle and shift on you. And I only use that method if I'm not putting underlayment. Now this already has underlayment, but I'm saying like they give you that foam underlayment, you know, that foam rollout barrier. Look, it costs so much for a roll of that. 100 square feet, which is 10 by 10, is $40. A box of this on sale is like 27 bucks or 28 bucks. Now, why in the hell would you put it down? Unless you're in an extremely cold area or you don't already have an existing floor. And I always suggest that you put, you know, 1/4 inch Luan down to make sure that you can level your floor, you know, before you put a new floor down, especially with this stuff. Because if you don't, all hell's going to break loose. Okay? So, I just want to let you know, it's not as simple as you think. Now, here's another thing. When you get into a room like this that has all of these curves and corners and stuff, it can be a little tricky. But don't let it, play on your mind. Because you can always put it in the opposite way. But I always like a section like this when I'm coming from and I'm making my run and I come to this section here, or I'm going to go in a closet. I'll just continue, I'll cut whatever I need to cut here. And I'll continue it all the way in there. And then what I'll do is I'll bring it all the way over here, continue it all the way over here. And then what I'll do is I'll just put pieces in the back. Now, unless you're a perfectionist and you're really worried about it, you can, do what you need to do in your closet. You know what I'm saying. Everybody's a little different, right? I mean, in essence, if you wanted to, you could just come to the edge here, keep bringing it all the way across, and then you can run it the opposite way in the closet if you choose to. I mean, it's really up to you, especially if you're going to have some doors or a divider or whatever you're going to do. But and that's how I do it. Now, where it changes is when you get out here, right? This is where, you hope that it comes past quite a bit. But what's going to happen is you're going to cut short pieces out of that, right? So, You just got to be careful. That's all. You just got to be careful, be conscientious of how you're making your runs, and try to stay as square as possible. The problem with older houses and mobile homes and things of that sort, here's the issue. A lot of the times it's out of square. So you got to really think about how you're making your run. And this is what I'm going to tell you. Sometimes what people will do in a situation like this, because it's kind of a different situation here, right, is they might make their run to here, right, and then they start laying the flooring from that corner in the same direction back over to here, and it won't be really connected there. But what you try to do is get nails to match if you can. Or, if you're not impatient, you take some PL and you run PL under the piece that you're running from back here where it meets here. Let me show you. So say for instance you're going to cut this board off and you're going to end it here. Right? You're going to end it right there. And you're going to go all the way down with it, right? And what you want to do, bring it over here. This is just some tips that I learned along the way over the years. Is you want to get yourself some PL3 Premium, right? Or you can buy the 5X or the 8X. It doesn't really make a difference, right? I use this. I've always used it. And it works great. Is you just, when you run this last line, right, you just run a bead underneath it. And then put some weight on. Like you could put a box on there or whatever. If you got a full box on that strip, on that line. And just let it sit overnight. You know, you just really want to put the PL to that last run right there. If you're going to make a new run here, just to match it. It is easier, it takes a little more time, but you don't have to put any nails in it. You know what I mean? And it should come out really good. But you're going to have to cut a straight line, which is going to take having, yourself a portable table saw so you can make a nice straight line, but it will come out good. It won't be, a pain in the rectum. Now, the good thing is you can run nails all the way up here along this one, right? When you're setting this next row. Because you're not going to see it with a trim. But when you get out here, you're going to want to put PL along this line, that you're running this way. Okay? So, there'll be, these boards here will be all PL. And that way you won't have no lines. And then all you have to do is, fill it in later on, if that crack, if you don't get it exactly right. It'll be good to go. And that's about as simple as I can tell you to do it. It's not hard. It's just if you rush or you bang too hard and you're not patient with this stuff, it will break and chip quick. Okay? It will. You have to be patient. Especially when you got an uneven floor that you're trying to do it on and you're not leveling your floor, it can be a menace. So, please take your time. Be patient. And it'll all work out in the end, but it's just some tips and tricks that I learned along the way doing this for, I don't know how many years now, probably. Let's see, how long have I been doing this? Let's see. Well, the first one that I ever did was 19... let's see, 1986, I helped to refurbish headquarters company for Fort Dix, New Jersey. I was supposed to go to my first duty station, actually, which was in Germany, amongst trying to go to airborne school and everything else. And they acquisitioned me. In other words, the post commander asked, does anybody have carpentry skills? And I didn't know, what he needed. Of course, I raised my hand and said, yeah. He goes, good, you're going to be here for about 3 months before you go to Germany. Which was cool, because I went to Germany. Well, I joined the Army as an E2 because I already had ROTC. So, when I left there, after 3 months, I was already a PFC when I went to my first duty station, so, which was kind of cool. Boy, it was a pickle, Too many chiefs and no Indians, and everybody wanted to argue, and it was messing up. And I had already had the skills because my grandfather, my grandfather, he had already showed me a lot about carpentry skills. And the biggest thing was having patience, Taught me a lot about watches and clock making and clock repair, and all kinds of wood stuff, and how to use lathes, wood lathes, metal lathes, how to mill. My grandfather taught me a lot, But I was always interested in that stuff, I think it's really taking the interest, being patient, listening to the people who have done it for many, many years. If you go in there with being a hothead, thinking that you know everything, man, it's nothing going to be but a disaster. So, I figured that I'd show you a little bit of what I'm doing and how it's coming along. I'm moving with a passion. I only work half days, so, my body, it just doesn't take the beating like it used to. I'm not in my 20s no more. As my cousin was saying. My cousin Chris was saying, we're not in our 20s no more. And I said, yeah, I know. He says, but man, you're moving like lightning. I says, that's because nap time is at noon time, so I gotta move, right? Because I know how I'm gonna feel. But, yeah, I just figured I'd do a little video, show you what I'm up to, show you how I'm progressing. We're getting there. It's a slow journey, But that's alright. I'm moving faster than my brother thought it would be, so he wants to get in here before the end of the month. And I told him, I said, I don't see a reason why not. The only thing that is going to take me the most amount of time, guys, I'm going to show you. This is probably going to take a week's time, maybe 10 days. Is this area, right? Because I got to I got to build all brand new cabinet here, right? So that is going to take me some time. I'm going to do it all out of face birch, but that takes a lot of time, and we have to fix this floor from whatever this menace is, right? They I don't know what the hell they were thinking, but so hopefully my brother can get in here and take up all of these tile and get these tile out of here. And once he takes the tile out of here and he gets the cabinet out, then I can go back in. What I'll probably do with these doors is because they got a nice lip here, I'll probably face these with Luan, some birch Luan, and it'll match the bottom cabinets because they'll probably end up painting them anyway, so it ain't going to really make a difference. And that way we can save the doors. I could save most of the doors. And it'll turn out nice. It'll look nice. But building the cabinet the right way, they just let it go, It was an older lady that lived here. Her husband passed away, so, and there's a lot of weird stuff going on. As you can see, she tried to fix the wall because I guess her kid or something had some mental disabilities or something because they went crazy on the wall, as you can see, punching stuff and beating stuff. And Good gracious me, you know. So we're going to put a new shower unit in. Take this shower unit out. Put a new shower unit in. Redo the walls. We're going to put green board up on the walls. So that'll look nice. And then I think we're going to take this out because I don't even know why you would make a closet, right, in front of a window like that. It doesn't make any sense. Put in new vents and stuff. It'll look good when we get done. It's just a lot of work, you know. But we'll get it done. We'll redo it the way it's supposed to be. Just takes time, that's all. So these two rooms will take me the most time. And then if I have time, I'm going to put a divider in here for my brother. So what I'll do is I'll put where these pipes are, I'll probably put a sub wall in here. And that way he'll be able to store stuff in here, you know, canned foods or whatever. Yeah. So it's a nice little house, you know. He was a little nervous when he was, you know, when he first seen it afterwards. He was like, "Oh, did I buy a shit bucket?" You know. You know, because my brother knows I know this stuff. He knows I'm really good at it, right? But, you know, I've been retired from it for a long time. My body just, you know, can't take it. So, you know, the only ones that I would come out of retirement for, you know, would be my brother, which I am, and my son and my grandkids, you know. That's it. Nobody else. I just, you know, and they all give me a little bit of cash, you know. But you can't expect anybody to do it for free, but you know, don't charge them full price, whatever. Because, you know, you should get paid to be in pain, right? But regardless, you know, and maybe some friends, if it was nothing really, a big remodel or something, you know, they just need me to put floors in or build a deck or something like that, you know, and they're not in a rush. That's the big thing, right? But outside of that, I would never want to do this full time anymore. First off, you know, to have me do that and be in pain, look, it costs a lot an hour to have me come in. You know, you're talking about $100 an hour, plus materials. I don't play around. So people don't want to pay that. They don't want to pay for the experience. They want it cheap, right? Well, remember, there's an old saying, you get what you pay for. And I've had to go in to many houses and redo them because they were done wrong, you know? So sometimes it ain't worth, you know, going cheap. And I tell people that all the time, you know? Now, people, you know, I understand that everybody's, you know, finances are different, but that's why I do videos and show stuff. And I do everything from building guitars to coin collecting to, you know, watches. I do a lot of different things because I've always been interested in learning, right? My mind's going 10,000 miles an hour. Don't matter how old I get, it's still ripping. So I always like to pass that information on. Whatever information that I can. And that way, at least other people gain something from it, right? And continue on. Building and repairing is art, right? And I love art. I've always been an artist. It's art. So it's not what it is when you start. It's what it is when you finish. So you have to have vision. You have to have projection. So when you see, you know, master carpenters out there doing work, right, they have to have vision. And they have to be able to think outside the box. I was just fortunate to have a great-grandfather and to have had good friends that were Amish that I worked for many years. You know, they taught me a lot, right? From new construction to repair, modification of buildings. I mean, cabinetry work. So I have been really blessed to learn a lot of different things. But I always paid attention, And the one thing that one of the Amish people, Marty, used to tell me, he says, Rab, you always got to have vision. It's not what it is when you start, it's what it is when you finish. And I hope that your vision is good. Otherwise, it'll turn out like crap. So, anyways, I think I've been chatting long enough. I just wanted to show you this. And I'll do another video soon. And we'll catch you on the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Pastor Bob. Like, share, subscribe, and all that stuff. And we'll see you later. I'm out of here. See ya.